We are just about to go live. This is Chris Mizo here. Hopefully everyone has been having an excellent day so far. I know for some of you across, it could be either the evening or the morning, depending where you're at around the world. Visuals will start up soon, which we're all excited for really new information when it comes to PC hardware. And I gotta say, we gotta talk about AM5. We gotta talk about the new Xbox ROG Ally that is being released very soon. You may have seen some peeks of it. And visuals will be starting now. So what's up, fam bam? What's up, guys? Hopefully you can see me in the clear. Try to make sure everything just started perfectly fine for the most part. But hopefully you guys are excited for the ASUS ROG Ally X Xbox Edition that is being released, and they also have the standard ROG Ally Xbox Edition. I know the name scheme isn't the best. It's quite a bit confusing, to be honest. I know for most people, but I know some of you out there are more on to the hardware side when it comes to PCs, especially if you're looking forward to Zen 6, and you may be worried that your PC may not be compatible with Zen 6, which we will get to shortly. So if you're unfamiliar with who I am, I'm Chris Mizo. I usually talk about PC and tech. Feel free to ask any questions when it comes to PCs and tech, or just feel free to ask anything that you have off of your mind. Also, what I do want to discuss with the whole Zen 6 affair, I have to say it's a bit interesting for the most part because there may be some incompatibility issues that are rumored, but again, we're not 100% sure. Again, we will get a little bit deeper into the topic. But first off, I do want to thank our member, Genomorphing, for being the first member of the Fan Bam. This is a brand new thing that we are trying out that's part of the Fan Bam. Hopefully you do join. And if you do, of course, it does also help out the channel, and it will certainly help out with the upcoming projects that we're excited about, such as Project Ninja, which we're working very hard to get started here. Then we joked about Project Wood, and of course, we got the whole Project Weed thing going, which I will explain shortly also in a bit of time. But for anybody out there who is curious about Zen 6, if you have a AM5 board currently, and you're curious if your B650 board is going to be compatible, or any other really Ryzen board that is bounded to AM5, if you're curious if it is compatible with your PC, it's more than likely going to be, but it does state that you do at least need a 32 megabytes to 64 megabyte BIOS in order for you to have compatibility with AM6. Now, this is rumored base. This is just all speculation, and it's all because of what ASUS mentioned when they came out with their newer boards, which are practically B850 boards, and they let you know it does come with a new 64 megabyte BIOS, which most of their boards are. Same thing with B650s. A lot of them do have like at least a 32 megabyte BIOS, so a lot of you don't have to worry about switching up a board if that is what you're curious about, because Zen 6 is going to be quite a bit different in how it utilizes the system. So I do have to say that when it comes to Zen 6, more than likely we can expect that they're going to end up using something like multiple CCDs. And if they end up using multiple CCDs, that will certainly help when it comes to the whole gaming aspect. If you are trying to use it for any type of course, optimizations when it comes to gaming. Now, a lot of you, if you haven't already tried this fix already, which is something that was brought to my attention to anybody who does play Battlefield 6 and who are fans of Battlefield 6, especially if you do play on PC, you're going to want to do a text note and write exactly what I have actually in my prior video, which was my most recent release, but thanks to Amir for bringing it up, because there is some high CPU usage if you are gaming Battlefield 6. If you pay close attention, doesn't matter what type of CPU that you're using, whether you're using Intel or AMD, that it could be a possibility that you're going to end up taking up quite a bit of usage. I've seen as high as up to 80% usage, even on something like a 9800 X3D. So this is something you want to pay close attention to, especially if you have a PC built already. You want to make sure that your usage doesn't go as high, because then it's going to end up bottlenecking your CPU instead of properly using your or utilizing your GPU. So just keep that in mind as well. So also, when it comes to Lenovo, they are also introducing a new RX 9070 XT, which we're really excited about. It kind of almost looks like, really looks almost like a Sapphire 9070 XT. And with the 9070 XT, it has this gray look, which I'll show you right here into the browser side. And let me see, it kind of looks just like this. This is on Videos Card's website here. And let me just show you, looks something like this. And with this card, it does really remind you of something like the Nitro Plus. It's a really nice looking card. If you're really curious if it has like the whole 12 volt high power port, it doesn't seem to be from what it looks like. Now we'll take a closer look on inspection. Now this is the 7600 it's showing. It doesn't really have clear indication of what if the card is going to be 12 volt high power port, but even if it is, more than likely you don't have to worry about any type of real usage out of it. You don't have to worry about burning, such as, which I will get into when it comes to the MSI headers here. Now, let me see. Let's get back to just chatting here. Also, I do want to mention something that is going on with MSI's power supplies. So I'm not sure if you guys have seen it or not when it comes to their power supplies. There's a lot of different questions. If it's really an issue with the power supply, or if it's something to do with the RTX 50 series. It's been mostly, a lot of these burning cases have been mostly a lot of RTX 5090s that have been involved. Now, some of them have admittedly said that they were, some of them admittedly have said that they haven't properly connected the connection when it comes to the power supply and the GPU itself. So then it's also causing some sort of issues there where it causes melting, but it's not going to be MSI's power supply per se. It's just very important to make sure to close the connection, because there's been plenty of cases where I've seen the 12 volt high power port not been properly connected to the point where you have some of the yellow pins sticking out. And that's what you want to avoid. You want to make sure it is completely sitting flush into the GPU so it doesn't cause any type of real issues such as the melting cases. So there's a lot of fear because of that, of getting things like the 12 volt high power port, which is understandable. Obviously, it's not the greatest design that's out there, but it is something that we're all going to have to adapt to, unfortunately, especially because it's becoming more of the norm, especially when it comes to the whole power supply side. You're going to see it in the newer Corsair power supplies that are offered. The new Corsair power supplies do also have them involved with the, they actually have two that's coming out, especially on the Corsair Shift, just to give you guys a heads up if you are looking forward to getting, say, a new power supply that is from Corsair. So just to give you a heads up, you want to make sure to look for that. Now, they're saying it's ready for the new RTX 50 series, but obviously you don't need two 12 volt high power ports. In order to power up something like even RTX 5090, you just need a single port. Now, there's only one card that really requires it, where it actually ends up requiring you to be able to have the full on connections, which is not going to be a common card to find. It's actually, I think it's a Yeston card. It's or what is it? It's either Yeston or Gainwell, but it's one of those cards where it does require two 12 volt high power ports, but it's not like really a main brand that you're going to get, say in the US or even in Europe or any other locations, just to give you a heads up. Also, another thing to keep in mind, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there has been an issue with MSI sending out shipments, and it seems like they've been having like pallets of RTX 5090s. Now, the RTX 5090s seem like they're ready to ship. I mean, there's just a ton of pallets. If you see these pallets, they're actually all directed practically to China. And again, that's something that where the RTX 5090s aren't supposed to go. They're supposed to have the variant, which is the RTX 5090D. And this is specifically all from MSI's GPUs that have been uh, sitting on pallets practically. And it seems like it's obvious that it's going somewhere, and almost looks just like almost similar to if you followed or saw the documentary of Gamers Nexus. It actually kind of follows and resembles closely to something like that. So it's kind of ironic that these photos leaked out, and I would love to hear everybody's thoughts of that. But let me see here. Okay, just give me a moment, guys. Let me see what's going on with this thing. And let me see, because there's one feed that seems like that isn't working properly here. So let me see what's going on with this real quick, guys, as we'll be right back real quick. Apologize about that. Just had to double check my feed because it seemed like it was acting a little bit funny there. But yeah, you got to let me know your thoughts about that whole issue, especially when it comes to MSI's RTX 5090s here. And the RTX 5090s that obviously they're supposed to get the double D version, which is kind of a, I don't know if NVIDIA did that on purpose. I just think it's hilarious that they came out with the double D edition for the 5090 version for China, but it still seems like they are sort of finding a way or some sort of loophole to ship these through to through China practically. Now they don't exactly look like brand new SKUs or anything like that. In fact, if you take a look at the boxes, they actually look like they're pretty used. There's usually again, it's still not supposed to be there anyway, because they do have like a label. If you look onto the side of the MSI boxes, it has like a sticker, where usually the new boxes they don't have them. If you look on the side, they'll actually have where it's getting pretty much sent to, and then it shows that it is obviously a 5090. So it brings the question, like, what is exactly going on there, and I'm curious to see what the real answers are, if we do end up getting any answers, especially from Nvidia, or even MSI, if they have anything to say about it. But also, I am looking forward to the ASUS ROG Xbox, or as I should say, really the ASUS ROG X Ally X Xbox Edition, and then they have the ASUS ROG Ally Xbox Edition, two different versions. Now, the first version, which is the base version, is practically only like $699.99, which is practically pretty similar for the most part. To let everyone know, it's similar to the Z1 Extreme. So if you are thinking of the base model, there is nothing wrong with it. In fact, that the battery life is even better compared to the Z1 Extreme, because it only had like 40 watt hours on the original one. Now the new version, I'm assuming they pushed it up probably to a similar spec to what they did with the ROG Ally X Xbox Edition, which is going to be about 80 watt hours. Now what's really truly different between the two is the fact that the X Xbox Edition does feature the Z2 Extreme. Now the Z2 Extreme is going to be the next step up from the Z1 Extreme, obviously the next generation up, but it's hard to say exactly how well the numbers will pair. Now, I haven't personally got to really check any other reviews or see what people thought of it, because what I want to do is practically like a non-sponsored review of the product, as I have it getting sent in as soon as tomorrow. Now, with the current device that I do have, which is the standard ASUS ROG Ally, which we did quite a bit of modifications. If you follow the channel, hopefully you got to see that, or maybe you're somebody out there who did some of the modifications, such as we swapped out 2 Hall effect sticks, and we were able to swap out with a much larger NVMe to a 2 terabyte version instead of the 512 gigabyte version that the Ally gives you. Only difference is we also even swapped out the OS. We swapped it out to Steam OS to see how well it runs. It runs awesome, but the only real negative impact when it comes to the ROG Ally is going to be the whole battery life side of it. So if anybody has any questions or anything like that, you can feel free to ask about it, or you can feel free to ask about any PC hardware or any type of specifications. If you need to look for any type of PC build, or maybe you're trying to upgrade your PC, you can also feel free to ask, as I do speak to the chat. Now, when it comes to the ASUS ROG Ally Xbox Edition, there is going to be quite some notable differences. You can notice the exterior is going to be quite different, as it's more of like a controller feel. I'm curious how the portability aspect is going to look compared to the original Ally, as the original Ally is pretty nice if you get a decent case on it. Now, there's this case that I personally like to put on it. It's much easier to carry with you instead of getting like those big bulky cases, especially if you're out traveling, you're going to the airport, or if you go out to get, like, say, your tires changed, that you don't want to carry something big and bulky with the ASUS ROG Ally. So it seems to be much easier to just get something that could be slim, and the slim product for it is practically just like, it's a neat innovative product. Now, I believe it's from JS Aux. They have this like cover that you could stick on top of the ROG Ally, and you just stick it on there, and it's practically good to go. So you don't have to put any type any type of like bulky box practically with you when you do carry it. So I'm curious to see how these newer models are going to be, how these newer cases will be, if they're going to have something similar to that. I've seen that they did have some similar products to it, to where that you can actually, I think, what was it? Was it D-Skins? It was a couple other companies that seemed like that they were processing some items for it. Now, the interesting thing for the Xbox Ally X and the Xbox Edition versions of the Ally, it seems that the numbers have been great for it. It seems like they are getting a significant amount of sales, which is going to be excellent for ASUS and also for the Xbox side. Now, of course, the negative impact for them, and I believe they could have honestly even picked up even more sales if it wasn't for the fact that they ended up they failed with the timing of Microsoft, I had to say. And the reason why I say they failed with the timing, that was just really bad of them and terrible, I gotta say. And a lot of people, I'm sure, lost respect for Microsoft, is the fact that they ended up deciding to announce the whole Xbox Game Pass price increase, which was just about like a week ago, or was it a couple weeks ago? It was pretty recent though. And the fact that they were going to push it up to the 3 different tiers, which is $14.99, $21.99, and you have up to $29.99, which is pretty insane. Now, you're coming from, what was it, like originally 2 tiers, and you're only paying like maybe about, what was it, $11 or $12 a month. And if you got the Xbox Game Pass and you got the PC Game Pass together, or the Ultimate Game Pass as they call it, and you pay $20 a month, then you're able to play all around and take advantage of it that way. But instead, they ended up pushing out this price increase for the Xbox Game Pass, and they failed to also mention that the PC Game Pass would be unaffected, that the pricing would remain the same for PC, and that it wasn't going to change. And then for all the oh yes, D brand, I figured that, champ. Yeah, well, soon, champ. It'll be coming in soon. I'm getting but I'll answer your question in just a second, right after I mention this. Now the thought just slipped my mind too, which is pretty funny. What was it? And for the whole Xbox Game Pass, Then they ended up sending the emails and regrets saying that you don't have to lose their subscription, but instead that, well, as long as if you don't leave us, then you don't have to worry about the price increase. But if you do leave us, then the price increase will be affected, even if you leave for a day or so. Then you will be affected by the price increase. Sorry about that, Mike. So I'm getting a DDR5 RAM. I see 4,000 megatransfers all the way to 6,500. What is megatransfers and how does it affect gaming? That is a great question, Mike. And what you want to look for. First, I got to ask you what type of processor do you have? If it's AMD, megatransfers is practically like going to be megahertz. They're both pretty much the same thing. So you want to look for the one that's like around, say, if you have AMD, 6,000 to 6,400 megahertz or megatransfers is going to be the sweet spot for it, so you can get access to infinity cache. If you access the infinity cache, then you will be able to get enjoy most frames when it comes to gaming, because then the timing would be most beneficial for that processor. If it's for Intel, if it's an Expo, that's another situation I could definitely explain, because with Intel you can do things like overclocking and everything, which you'd probably seen record-breaking numbers and everything with it, and that also has to do with megatransfers, and which I can explain a little bit more deeply if you do have an Intel processor. So Siri says, is it a good idea to buy a GPU used? I'm getting a 5080 around $1,000 in Japan. So if you are getting a 5080 used, you want to make sure that you're able to bench it. Now, it's not like how it was before. Before, especially in the 30 series, you would have to really be concerned about used GPUs. Reason being is because a lot of people were using their GPUs to practically mine crypto. But now it's not as big. More than likely, it's not going to be a case like that nowadays, because mining is more of the inefficient way now of being able to get crypto, because of how much decrypting you would practically have to do in order to be able to get one, or like even just like a piece of it. So for a 5080, if you could bench it and test it, that would definitely be the beneficial and would be the recommended part for it. Or if they have, but I wouldn't even trust a sheet, even if they showed me a sheet. I would definitely try it out first if you could. If it's from an official shop, then I wouldn't worry about it as much, because more than likely the warranty will continue from there. But also, speaking of it, if it is also used and the person just say he is the first person that bought it, you're buying it, say, off of like an online meetup or something, like off of like Facebook Marketplace or anything like that, then it would be good if he was able to produce you the receipt, because then you can actually carry the warranty, the rest of the warranty time that way. But just depending on the manufacturer too, you want to check the warranty terms to see if it allows you as a third person to be able to warranty the GPU if there's any issues. If you can't, then you might want to think twice, especially if you do run into any issues. Also, another thing you want to do is you want to check the thermal gel or the thermal paste, make sure there's no leakage and also you want to check the 12-volt high power port, because if you want to make sure that there's no burns. Again, best thing to do is be able to physically test the GPU first. Now, so that would be the best case, I would say. Definitely do that if you can. Be able to test out the RTX 5080, and hopefully you do get a good one. $1,000 honestly isn't too bad. That's almost like 5080 brand new. If you get the Founders Edition, should be around that same price. But again, if it's like a variant, like say if it's like a decent variant like a ASUS Astral, a ROG Astral, ROG Astral, that would be a significant savings, I gotta say, if you were able to get it for like $1,000. But yeah, definitely check that out first and see if it's possible for you to check out the GPU and be able to really push it. Do like the simple benches on it, and hopefully they have it inside of a system already before they actually take it out and remove it. So Daredy says, I still can't get my CPU usage down. I couldn't find the file you had in. Oh, okay. So there, D. If you couldn't get the usage down, and if you typed in everything in a notepad, what I will do is, if anybody doesn't know here, or everybody watching that doesn't know, I do have a Discord channel. It's free to join. Feel free to join it, and I could certainly send you the file through Discord and see it, and hopefully it will work then. Make sure, because like I said, you have to be really careful, as you want to make sure it doesn't save as a text file. You want to make sure that it actually saves as save as all, because it should save as a more of a configuration file than an actual text file. If it saves as a text file, you'll know right away, because it's going to look like a notepad. It should look like a blank white piece of paper practically when it's saved correctly. So yeah, just feel free to join Discord. Let me know it's you there, D, and I will certainly help you out. No problem. And again, everybody is free to join the Discord. And again, big shout out to our the first member of our fan band, Xenomorphing. I do appreciate him, and he did want me to ask a question in here. Hopefully we have enough people in here to be able to ask the questions, and don't be shy, you can certainly answer the question. What was everybody's first GPU for the most part? When you first really started using a PC, what was the first GPU that you've used? So that is today's question. Feel free to answer it, and let me know. Would love to elaborate a bit into it. And to just for everyone to share, this might give away just how old I've been into PC building practically. As for me, I think it was considered the GTX 6800, which was the GPU with a mermaid on there, and that was NVIDIA's one of their best GPUs. And the way I was able to get this GPU was I was young at the time. I was in middle school just about, and I noticed that games started to lag, because before the family PC, we had just a Sony, they called it the Sony Vaio Entertainment System. Some of you may be familiar with it, some of you may have never heard of it, and what it was it was ahead of its time type of PC, and that you were able to actually play decent games and everything on it. And it was really an expensive PC. And the fact that, but over time, just like all PCs do, they end up aging. And then I noticed that certain games that I started playing started to get really choppy and laggy. And then I figured out that in order to improve this, that if we just add a GPU to it, it can make a significant difference. Something with dedicated graphics can certainly make a significant difference when it comes to gaming. So I told my pop, hey, we need to buy a GPU, because I can't really do my homework for school. I can't really focus and do work for school. So he just ends up buying it. And it was funny too, because at the time I think it was CompUSA that we bought it from. And when we were there, the guy was practically oh, this is a really nice GPU. And my father's just okay, whatever, just just ring it up so I could put it into the computer so my son could do his homework. So that was pretty funny though, for the most part. So I don't know what GPU it was, but my computer ran at 300 megahertz. That is how long I've been away from using a PC. So Mike, in order for you to find out your PC type or your GPU type, if you hit the Windows R button together, type DXDiag, which is what I'm going to type right here. It's going to be called DX. You want to type that into your run box when you hit Windows R, and then when that comes up, go to the graphics side, and then it will show you the type of GPU that you are using. And then once you find out, feel free to share your GPU. I would love to know what it is. Now, Battlefield 6 doesn't really require a powerful GPU. In fact, it's actually one of the more optimized games that's out there, even though ironically that even though the CPU usage is pretty high, it still runs relatively smoothly for most PCs. So feel free to share it. So it says so RTX 4060. Is that the type that you do have? Oh, snap. I just realized that. It's not showing everybody through the chat window. Let me go ahead and fix that real quick, guys. I apologize for everyone that's... It should log you guys in. I think I know why, because it's... There you go. Perfect. Now it should log you guys in. Okay, so the RTX 4060. What about the RTX 4060? Is that the type of GPU that you're running? If you're trying to run Battlefield 6, it shouldn't be an issue for the most part. Are you trying to, I'm assuming, game at 1080p or 1440? Feel free to answer so I know what you want to do with your RTX 4060. So, also another thing, and for everyone to know, there is supposed to be an announcement as soon as tomorrow. I do find it a bit interesting. Microsoft is supposed to announce something. I think it's tomorrow. They said Thursday, but again, they could mean like any Thursday. It could be it could be tomorrow, or it could be next Thursday, but it's supposed to be something that's going to change the use of Windows. And I feel like it's going to end up using Copilot like intertwined with Windows, and gosh, I really hope not, because I just hope it becomes better optimized. But hearing Windows and optimized together doesn't really mix, I have to say. Okay, so you're trying to run 1440p Battlefield 6. Okay, so the minimum, let me just go onto the PC, and which I will share with you so I could show you exactly what is required of Battlefield 6. Now, for Battlefield 6, I'm going to share the browser here so I can share it with you. Now, for anybody that wants to get into Battlefield 6, or any type of PC game, the thing you have to look up the most, or for the first and foremost, is going to be system requirements. Originally, there was only 2 levels of system requirements most people needed, and that was going to be just that the minimum requirements or the recommended requirements. But now we've become a bit more sophisticated, where there's 5 different tiers. Now, you're more than likely going to fall into the recommended tier. It's funny because it seems like even on EA's website, they have it on the recommended side. Now, to play 1440p Battlefield 6, it doesn't really require a lot. In fact, let me show you. So, once we go here, let me go there. Hopefully it pops up. Just give it a moment. Right here. Perfect. So this is what you're going to need, and let me fix the other side, because the other side doesn't seem to be popping up either. There you go. And drag that over right there. Okay, perfect. So what you want to follow is the recommended PC requirements. At least you need a 3700X. So more than likely you probably have that. So that's very minimal. Now for the GPU, you require at the minimum of not the minimum, but the recommended side of a 3060 Ti. So you already have a 4060 that's going to exceed it. And more than likely, I hope you have more than 80 gigabytes in your PC. Definitely got to have that in order for it to play nicely. So, in order for you to be able to play 1440p, you're going to need a system like this on the recommended PC system requirements. So you don't have to worry. More than likely, you're going to be okay playing on Battlefield 6 at full 1440. Now, when it comes to the frames, how many frames are you exactly looking for? Because for frame, when they say recommended, that's going to hit like, say, more than likely this is going to be like at 1080p at like 144 hertz, and that's going to be more on the recommended side. So for 1440, you could certainly reach that, I see, especially on a 4060. Now, if you're thinking of upgrading your GPU and you're still sticking with the same monitor and you want to get, say, like a higher refresh rate, maybe you're looking for 240 hertz, you don't want, say, like 100 and maybe you don't want 144 or 180. You want to look for like a full 240 hertz. You're going to have to push up your graphics card then, because a higher refresh rate means you're going to need a bit more power and demand out of your card. But other than that, more than likely you should be good. And hopefully you have your resize bar set. If you do, that should be able to also help gaming on something like Battlefield 6. So you don't have to worry about that. So games are so games are so unoptimized. My new RTX 3060 can barely run a game. It looks like Fortnite. Yeah, that's the thing. There's a lot of games out there that aren't optimized as well as they should be. I agree. Now, that has to do with the developers. And you know what's a good sign of knowing a game that is not really optimized as well is because this release today, just this news, is that Battlefield, not Battlefield 6, but I think this is part of the reason why. But Battlefield 6 is better optimized than most games out there, which is true. It's 100% true. Because when you look at other optimizations, they're even, or required specifications, are even more demanding and even more ridiculous than something like Battlefield 6. Now, if you look at, say, Borderlands 4, a ridiculous requirement game, which, let me show you. This is ridiculous. Borderlands 4. And this is going to lead into the topic I want to talk to you guys about, and why game developers should really listen to like a lot of gamers out there, because if they don't, this is going to be a large issue. It's funny, their website doesn't even work. Let's look for an image then. Here we go, right here. So this is going to be, it's funny. What's up, MVG? How's your PC treating you? I bet it's been quite the beast. It's funny because their website is down, actually. I tried to go to the official website for Borderlands 4, and it seems like their website is down. Ironically, I could see why, though. All right, so we're going to go on Reddit here, in fact. Because somebody is actually sharing it. It's not a very good picture of it. Let me see. Let me see if I could get a nice clear picture. Here we go. These are settings. Let me see. Okay, I'm just gonna go to another website and actually pull the settings and tell you. Let's go on Corsair's website. There you go. Corsair's website. So Corsair's website says, all I'm saying is GTA 5 ran on an Xbox 360 with 512 megabytes of RAM, and I can't see a flaw in graphics because it's optimized very well. GTA 5, and I expect GTA 6 to wow a lot of people, especially for the budget that they spent. I could especially see GTA 6 like being very unique and not as demanding on hardware. And I would love for that to happen, because then it can really smack a lot of developers in the face and say, like, hey, we're able to develop this. How come you're not able to develop your games properly? Instead of relying on an engine such as Unreal Engine 5. And again, this is the reason why. So I'm glad to hear that, MVG. Yes, and I do remember when 1080 Ti was the first true 4K GPU. And it's funny because I'm going to get back on the whole NVIDIA subject, because we were actually just speaking of this. And so I'm okay, and I got you, Mike. Don't worry, I will answer your question. Let me just answer this question real quick about the Borderlands 4. And the reason why I want to bring up Borderlands 4, the minimum requirements, this is minimum, meaning like to run the game at all, to run it at 60 frames at 1080p type of specifications here. So if you see up here, it recommends at least Windows 10. Okay, no biggie. Now, it recommends a CPU of an i7-9700 or 2700X. And then it recommends at least a 2070 to a RX 5700 XT, 8 gigabytes minimum, right? Remember how a lot of manufacturers said 8 gigabytes is the perfect limit. It's the perfect limit for a GPU. And this clearly denotes that as a true lie, because look at that. It says 8 gigabytes at the minimum, not recommended, at the minimum. And the storage should be 100 gigabytes. And when it goes to the recommended specification side, you see it recommends a 12700. Now remember, think about the Battlefield 6 specs. AMD Ryzen 7 5800X. That's not that long ago. 32 gigabytes. Insane, right? And then it recommends an RTX 3080 or a RX 6800 XT. And again, 8 gigabytes VRAM required at least, and which means you need more than 8 gigabytes. So that just tells you how optimized that a game like Borderlands really is. And in fact, they had to learn from their mistake. In fact, they wanted to charge $80 originally for the game, and luckily they didn't, because that would have really hit them hard in the face, because they did charge $70. They still didn't sell as many. It still didn't do well. And then afterwards, just today, they announced that their drop-off rate on Steam for Borderlands 4 is down to 75%. That is a massive drop-off. And it could be because of Battlefield 6. I can say that for sure. But to say 75% is quite massive of a drop. Now, speaking to Mike here, I'm going to be running a Ryzen 7 7800X 3D paired with the 5070 Ti and AIO. The case I will be using is running 10 fans. What would be the safe amount of wattage for a PSU that I would recommend? So if you're running a 7800X 3D, that doesn't really require an amazing amount of power. In fact, it could run as low as 105 watts. So the 7800X 3D I wouldn't worry about too much. And the 5070 Ti requires a minimum of 850 watts. So if you're going to run a PSU, I would say at least 1,000 watts would be best, especially running up to 10 fans. And I feel like you want to have a margin that's quite over the 5070 Ti and over your CPU. Now, when it's recommending 850 watts, doesn't mean just the GPU itself, but your system completely. So 1,000 watts would certainly be plenty and should certainly fulfill your needs for your PC. Hopefully that answers your question. And Cubic says, since ray tracing devs have been relying on it, it's been giving less of a damn of how many games look, as long as they make the system specs so high till it blows our minds off. Practically, you know what? You know what's funny? You speaking of this, Cubics, which is quite hilarious. And I know, and you even have 12 gigabytes of VRAM, which still quite struggles on current titles. And the funny thing is, just like the developer of Borderlands 4, he kind of says, like, how come you don't have a 5090? Why doesn't everyone own a 5090? If you want a game on PC, just own a 5090 and be happy with it. But that's not the case. Most gamers are not going to spend $3,000 for a 5090. In fact, you don't really need a 5090 to run all games. And better GPU for that is honestly, again, like a 9070 XT. I can't say that enough. 9070 XT is an awesome GPU. Same thing with the 5070 Ti or higher. Like 5070 Ti and 5080 is like the sweet spot when it comes to gaming. I typically don't recommend 5060 Ti because it's just, let's face it, it's a BS card. It's not really great. It's not really a 5060. It's more like a 5050. So those are like the real three options for modern GPUs. So to say that how come everybody doesn't own it? Well, why don't you just actually optimize your games? Why don't you just not optimize and develop your games off of a 5090? Why don't you actually optimize off of a lower spec system? Because then you can certainly optimize the game much better that way, instead of relying on things like ray tracing or relying on things such as like on frame generation, and which is another ridiculous thing that most people don't end up using anyway. Frame generation will just lead to a bad time, especially if you're playing things like first-person shooters. So I busted my ass off on a dishwashing job. It would take me literally 2 years to get a 5090 alone, and then and that's the problem. Like when it comes to like GPUs, they become obsolete very quickly. And all it takes is just wait for 2 years to pass. And then next thing you know, it's not going to perform nearly as well, especially if they're going to go for some sort of breakthrough like when it comes to graphics, such as ray tracing, right? And and I have a whole theory between that. Exactly. Their job is to optimize. I have a whole theory on this. And just to go pull back to that topic, which we actually just spoke about, like how they said that the 1080 Ti would be the perfect card and how it's the first card for 4K gaming. And we all know that's straight up BS now because we are in that 4K era practically. And in fact, it's 4K monitors actually affordable for once. But the thing is, the hardware is not affordable to actually produce the 4K. So, and here's where the problem lies. Now, say you do have a 1080 Ti, or if you have any of the GTX cards, they still actually run perfectly fine. They run great. They still run on some titles currently. But the problem is that NVIDIA had to wean those card holders, all those card holders who are owns the GTX series, that 1000 series line, which is like they're really honestly like the best line that they've ever had. And they just said they pulled up their whole end of user license agreement saying, hey, we're not going to support this card anymore. It doesn't have RTX. Sorry, we can't support this card. We're not going to develop drivers anymore. And that was this year. So I have a good feeling, and it almost seems like that this is going to probably be the last generation when it comes to the RTX line, because it just seems that's just how NVIDIA flips. Because when you think about it, we're already pretty much like about four series in with the RTX, right? So when they come out with the next card, it's probably not going to be called the RTX 6090. Sure, it's easy enough to call, but my guess is maybe they're going to push a little bit harder and do things like path tracing. Maybe it's going to be called the PTX 1000 series or 2000 series or whichever they call it. Or maybe they call it an AI series. I don't know what they want to call it. But the fact that it almost seems like NVIDIA wants to move into a whole different generation, but their main focus right now is not GPUs currently. Obviously, they're more focused on AI on a large scale. They're more focused on trying to become number one in AI. It's practically a race for AI between all the manufacturers such as NVIDIA, AMD, MediaTek. There's a whole lot of them that's trying to race to the top for AI currently. But anyway, to get to the point about NVIDIA, we're probably going to hear more about the supers during the GTC Summit, which is going to be in March, or Computex, which is in May. And more than likely, then the following year, which would be 2027, then we would see whatever they change it to. And I believe 2026, we're going to hear a lot of rumors, especially towards like Q3 and Q4 when it comes to the whole either 6000 line or if they're going to rename their whole line. So the only thing that NVIDIA cares about is more than ray tracing is AI. They'll just quit gaming and go full AI, or just slightly give us, yeah, pretty much. And that's what I feel like they're going to go on. And they're going to rely on better optimization when it comes to the whole AI. They're going to rely on their cards to really kind of create the process. And it almost seems like it may get worse when it comes to the whole AI side. And I'm kind of curious. And the funny thing is, how many of you out there are pretty fatigued, I have to say, when it comes to seeing like AI products or even AI videos? Like if you constantly go through content, you're probably a good decent bit of it about like out of like say 2 out of 4 videos, like a good 50% or more videos that you see either on YouTube or any other type of social media, you might run into AI content. And now it seems like more than ever, that it seems like people are kind of getting fatigued from the whole AI side. So I'm just curious to see where it's going to lead within the next year, because I see people already getting fatigued from the whole video end of it. And I'm just curious if how it's going to go about. I know they're more focused on the business aspect of it more than the actual consumer side of it. So with their whole AI side, I know the idea or the world that NVIDIA certainly wants to create after seeing the last display like in CES 2025, which is quite insane and quite incredible at the same time, and could be quite scary because which I could certainly get into if you guys are interested in hearing that. And for anybody that's just coming in, I'm Chris Mizo. I talk about PCs and tech. You can feel free to ask any questions that you would like about PC hardware or PC builds. Also, if you are liking what you're watching, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and feel free to join the free Discord down below. If you want to join the wonderful fan bam, if you want to join the membership, feel free. I would greatly appreciate it, and so would everyone else. It will certainly help fund the upcoming projects that I would love to share with you guys, such as Project Ninja, and we got Project Wood maybe, or Project. We got all kinds of crazy projects going on. So AMD clearly has the money, knows AI has the money, but I have a theory that they know it's just a bubble that'll pop. It's like in their 50s with nuclear energy. We had nuclear everything. It was a bubble, but now it's not. It's true. That is very true. I feel like it's definitely, you're on to something there. It does seem quite like a bubble. And you know what's funny? I can certainly say, I remember last year, I definitely underpredicted AI. And I thought that AI it was going to be kind of like an in and out thing. Or maybe it still turns out that way. I always felt like AI was more of a marketing scheme. And we already see it in some things that necessarily isn't AI. Just as like you see certain TVs that produce AI, or that you see even microwaves with AI built into it, where it shouldn't technically be AI. It's just a program practically built into it. And it just seems like they just want to keep pushing it and charge more for the product. So just because it has the word AI, it will make people want to purchase it. In fact, even Apple, they came out with their new M5 laptop. And what do they talk about? They talk about how it's 3 times faster in AI processing. But most people aren't going to care about that. In fact, and why does Apple really care about AI processing as much if they don't produce AI themselves? They don't have Apple Intelligence working properly in the first place. So that just tells you it's more marketing than anything. And that I'm curious to see if it does end up fading out real quick, especially in the consumer side. But on the business end, I'm curious to see where it goes, where it just might end up just like how you're saying, Cubics, just like a big bubble, and then they just end up just giving up on it. So a 9800 X3D beats out any AI processors from Apple. Yeah, exactly. It's funny too, because it's when they came out with their product, a lot of people were saying, how come Apple doesn't come out with an M5 gaming device? Or why don't they come out with like a gaming laptop? And the reason being is there's actually a lot of reasons for that. And the fact that it's also, sure, it's a powerful SoC. It certainly is one of the best. But the thing is, it cannot really be a gaming laptop because it's all in one, and it doesn't really have its own dedicated memory. So if you're using an SoC, the bandwidth isn't going to be fast enough in the first place. It doesn't have its own VRAMs, which is also problematic. So it's not going to be the greatest gaming laptop as you think it is, because it's going to be draining the battery quite a bit if you do end up using it, because you're practically forcing the laptop to use all its resources. And I guarantee you that long battery life will not be long at all if you are gaming on something like that. So there's a reason why it's strictly an Apple product, because it's mainly made for those who are looking for graphic design. That's where it's more beneficial more than anything, because you're not going to be using the graphic processing as much. You're going to use it, but again, it's not nearly as much as if you're going to be using it for something on the gaming aspect. Especially, it's great for a CPU heavy task. It can run great tasks that are CPU intense, but it's not going to be great for things that are super GPU intensive. So, but yeah, speaking on that side, it seems like Apple actually for the first time they released just the M5, and that they didn't release the M5 Pro or the M5 Max. So it's interesting that they didn't go that route. And the second thing is that they also did not introduce OLED once again. So it's certainly a big letdown for a lot of people who are looking for the new generation when it comes to Apple's laptops. It might be a bit longer for them to try to perfect it, or maybe they do it earlier in the next year. But again, that's again for all the Apple users out there that want to look for a MacBook. But again, anybody out there can feel free to ask any questions that they wish about any PC hardware or PC or any type of PC upgrades. You can feel free to ask. There is some hardware I'm certainly very interested in trying out, and I gotta say I'm really interested in Gigabyte's X3D. It's just very appealing, and it would certainly be a nice build to do. I'm just curious because I know it's going to be a fascinating motherboard. I think it does have also the 64 megabytes of BIOS upgrade practically in it, and it says it can boost up your CPU usage, or not usage, but your CPU speeds, and practically improve your instructions per clock practically like 10 to 15%. So I just would love to see how well it performs. And there's also talks too, speaking of Project Ninja, there's also talks with Noctua that they are also going to come out with their Chromax fans, which is like practically the black ones, and not just like the brown and the yellowish color. That they'll come out with like the all black ones with the different coatings and stuff, like their version 2s of it. If they do, that would be really nice, and that would certainly fit well into something like Project Ninja. We could get like all black Noctua fans and see how quiet it is. I'm really curious to see how it would work out. Now, speaking of which, I'm curious also to see if how AMD will handle the situation. Hopefully, it doesn't end up being like the whole debacle like we had when it came to AM4. Because if everyone remembers how AM4 was, that if you didn't have a 16 megabyte BIOS, and you didn't have you had like a B350, that you may not have had it. So you had to upgrade or be forced to upgrade to a B550 in order for you to use their newer processors. And hopefully that's not the case. But more than likely, I don't think it will be. It seems like that they really wanted to make sure that they still remain give you full capabilities, regardless of what generation motherboard you're on, which is great for those who do worried about future proofing and those who got an AM5 board. But again, we will find out a lot more soon during CES 2026. We're lined up ready for it, and definitely excited for the trip. So if you have any questions that you would like to ask about it, especially when it comes to AMD or any of the brands that you would like to see, feel free to let me know, and I will certainly take it down into the notes, because I love hearing to know what you guys are thinking or what you guys would like to see there. Now, my question is, how much interest is there out there, especially for those with 4K displays, or those who are more interested? Are you more interested in, say, like 4K displays, I should say, or more interested in OLED displays? So let me know what your thoughts are and what you think. So I got a 9800 X3D, and it's a monster. That is awesome. A satirical gamer, and it's also good to see you. A 9800 X3D is certainly one of the top processors out there, especially for gaming. I actually do have a list that is coming out soon, speaking of processors, that are going to list the top 10 CPUs that you can get for 2025. And I can't wait to release this video. It should be sometime soon. Obviously, I'm going to be working on the ASUS ROG Ally Xbox Edition that should be coming in by tomorrow, I believe. I think it said Thursday. Currently, it's in Georgia. I'm located in Florida, so I'm just waiting for FedEx to practically ship it. And then once it's shipped, we'll take a look at it and see how well it performs, especially against the original Z1 Extreme, which I'm certainly curious about. So if anybody has any questions about the Xbox Ally Xbox Edition or Ally X Xbox Edition, feel free to ask. and we can certainly compare it. We can definitely give it some GPU intensive titles just to see how well it handles it. And I'm just curious to see how well how much better if it's able to run on FSR4, because it's going to be a lot more crisper and a lot more smooth compared to FSR3 if that's the case. But yeah, I do got a lot of questions about it. Again, I'd say I know for sure, I can say this for certain, is that the most disappointing thing for me personally when it comes to something like this ASUS ROG Ally Xbox Edition is the fact that it still does not come with Hall effect sticks. That's still something that's going to have to be installed if you do want to get like Hall effect sticks in there. But again, we'll see how it feels. I'm really curious to see how these how the sticks feel compared to the Hall effect ones that are currently installed now on the original Ally. And I do got to say, when it comes to, and I'm really curious about their whole new system and if Windows is going to actually listen to the optimizations like for the gamers side, because I mean, admittedly, if you really look at SteamOS, it's done really well, especially like when it came to the Steam Deck, and even it has people wanting to install like things like SteamOS on PC, which I get, or even Bazlight if you're familiar with it, into PC, because you don't have to deal with the Windows headache. You just want to focus on gaming, and that's it. That's great for those who are more into gaming. But where it's not going to be good is for those who want to use it for other tasks besides gaming. Sure, you can, but it just takes a few extra steps in order for you to be able to access the other areas that you would like to, or you might not have things that you're familiar with. Maybe you prefer to use like Adobe products, and you won't be able to use the same Adobe products. You'll have to use other alternatives such as GIMP or other products that you can really use in Linux. Now, I do got to say it's great when it comes to OSs, but you have to really be like 100% like turn this PC into a gaming machine if that's what you want to use it for. Now, hopefully Windows does really perfect it, as it seems like they are working on a variant of it, and that they are going to release it in other devices, not just on say like the Lenovo Go 2, which is also going to release sometime soon, but on hopefully on actual desktops, which would be nice. Maybe that'll be announced tomorrow on Thursday, like they said, or it could be a whole new OS that they're mentioning, could be Windows 12. And the funny thing is, they said that Windows 11 was supposed to last us like 10 years, but I don't think it's been well received, and I think it's been obvious that not a lot of people who are on Windows 11 aren't enjoying it as much as Windows 10. So, but I'm curious to see where Microsoft takes us to when it comes to that side. There is also going to be not just the Ally Xbox Edition, but there's also quite other motherboards that are also coming out by just ASUS, by Gigabyte, and I believe MSI will come out with their version. I'm not sure what they're going to come out quite yet. I've seen Sapphire has released their motherboards, which I'm certainly curious about. It would be excellent for something like a stealth build. I'm really hoping that this whole X870E from Sapphire does certainly come out. It would be nice if they did, and it would be the Nitro Plus, I think it would be called. And they had some like photos shown of it, but again, I'm really curious to see how well they do this product, how well they would make their motherboards, and I am also thinking of doing something like a BTF build, like or something like the Gigabyte Stealth builds or Project Zero, depending on the project, and see how well that turns out. But it's going to be quite interesting to see where we go into PC building in the upcoming year. And as again, Corsair, if you missed this earlier, Corsair's power supplies are also going to start producing not just one 12-volt high power port, but also a second 12-volt high power port. And they call it 50 series ready, but it almost seems like an indication that like for the 50 series supers that it's possible that you might need 2 ports, but then again, it's hard to say where they steered the direction because, I mean, RTX 5090 still only requires 1. But to have 2 and say it's 50 series ready, it makes you really want to raise questions and see why they are doing it. It's like almost like admitting fault, like that there should have been some sort of power split between the two. So, yeah, it will be like Windows 8 and won't last long. I got my Windows 11. Oh yeah, only for $9. That's funny because yeah, it seems like most people that end up getting like Windows or Windows 11, they get it for really cheap, and it's almost like ridiculous how easy it is to get Windows 11 keys because it's just like they're practically giving it out. They want to give you a Windows 11 key just to switch over to it. And I'm curious, did everyone's companies out there, anybody's companies out there still stick with, like, say, Windows 10? I hear some people actually, their PCs at their companies are still staying at like Windows 7, which is pretty insane. Which is obviously like a big problem when it comes to vulnerabilities when it comes to their companies. So the dual 12-volt high power port is for people putting dual 5090s in their workstations. That makes sense. So, man, that's a lot of power though. Because even, okay, say you have dual 5090s, right? That it would require at least 2,000 watts. Because think about it, it's one 5090's 1,000 watts of requirement. That's the minimum. So having 2 has to require at least 2,000 watts. And the variants that they came out with, I'll show you what the variants Corsair actually came out with. Corsair Shift. And we will go to the browser as soon as it loads up. And let's see. It is right here. It looks like we're going to WCCF Tech. And it looks like this. Shift ATX 3.0 revealed 1200. Oh, wait, this is old. That's not what we're looking for. I think I remember seeing it on video cards, I'm sure. It was... This whole thing was hilarious when that was announced. Here it is. So it says, so they said Corsair has introduced the new HXI Shift power supplies. And then we can't zoom in on that picture. But it says the lineup with the HX 1500i Shift, which includes 2 native 12-volt 2x6 GPU cables, enabling direct power for dual high-end cards or extreme single GPU configurations. I see. So maybe if you have something like, if it's 1500 watts, it's still a lot of power though. Oh, here we go. And it even shows it on Corsair's website, where on their X account right here. And this is how it looks like. So you know what this would honestly be great for too? This is honestly great for anybody out there who wants to do any type of like a BTF build. Because if you have a shift, just imagine the cable connections. You don't have to really extend them too much. So if you did like a BTF build, like if we look at, say, if we look at like a ASUS BTF board here, which is like this here, and it will look something like this, right? And then all the connections for it is all going to be in the back. So you can imagine. Also, the biggest entity struggling with Windows 11 switch is the US military. Nobody seems to talk about that though. Yeah, it's funny. I'm surprised. Like, I know there's more than just like just companies doing it, and if it's the military that's also struggling, that's not a good thing. They still, oh wow, if they got Windows XP machines, that is insane. You can imagine how that's crazy. That's like a big loophole if that's the case. And if you look into the gallery side, let's see. Oh, it looks like it's interactive in a way. Let's go to the gallery side, and I just want to share with you guys how the connections are for this board. So obviously we're used to seeing the connections on the motherboard right here, right? We're used to seeing the ATX power, and we're used to seeing, look how nice and clean that looks. You don't have to hook up any cables. What's up, what's your man? Good to see you. Glad you made it. Now you look onto the side here, you look onto the back of the board, right? Let me flip this over for you and take a look at that. Everything in the back. So imagine you had Corsair shift, right? And then you were able to connect to the back here. You barely need any type of cables. You could really have them pretty short for the most part. Because if you had the shift, that's such a short distance to go. That's like you only really need like a 1 meter cable really to like get there. Check out, sure. Yeah, sure, Kabari X Games. Feel free to share it. You can feel free to put it into the chat, or if you have it on a PC parts picker, feel free to add it into Discord, as you can go down to the description box down below and feel free to share it that way if it's a bit easier. I would love to see it. And for anybody that's just joining in, I'm Chris Mizo, and we talk about PCs and tech and hardware. Hopefully everybody is excited for the new hardware that's coming in. We're going to check out the new Xbox, the ASUS ROG Xbox Ally X, whatever you can call it, and see how well this really runs against the Z1 Extreme. So yeah, you only really need like if you have the power supply, say here, where most of the power supplies sit here on the side of the board, on the back of the PC, really, you can just need a 1 meter cable just to go up to the top right there. And then to the ATX, you would need like 1.5. 1.5 meters would do. And the same thing like if it comes to any other connections. Now the case wires are going to be easy to connect because obviously the case usually falls in through the top. The case wires will go through the top, and then you can easily connect them. There won't be any issue. The USB-C, and then you got your SATA ports here, and then you do have your power delivery port right there. And then from down here, it has 2 USB-C connections, so it seems like more and more cases hopefully have dual USB-C, since that seems like more of the case. That would be nice if that's the case. In fact, this looks like USB 3, and this would be USB-C down here. More SATA ports, your fans, and then obviously it should have, this would be probably your PC startup here, down onto the corner side right there. And then onto the side here, you can see that you have your more fan headers. And the CPU fans sit up here on the top. Your RGB lights sit up here. So it's just like all your connections on the back of the board. So it's pretty nice how they got it set up that way. Especially for anybody that is thinking of like more of a stealthy build. Because I mean, just look at how nice it could turn out. Because when you take a look at it, you can really make it look sick. Now, my question is, like, if we do something like that for, say, like Project Ninja, it'd be a bit, the only things that we would have to worry about more is the fans, like how the fans would go. Now, the fans would obviously have to be, hopefully, are magnetic fans. That would be definitely a best option if you want to keep it looking clean, versus something that if you want to have like separate fans, if it's still like the traditional fan where you got to hook it up to like a 3-in-1 fan harness, you could always do it that way, but it won't look nearly as clean as if you use magnetic fans, and then you just need really one fan cable to connect to the board in the back. And that would be probably the wire that you would have to extend the most is something like that. So let's see. And let me get over here. Let me just double check Discord here and see if they are in. What's up, Darity? I will get to you. and I will definitely tag out that Battlefield text for you. So I just saw you in there, and let's see, PC hardware. So feel free, you can post it in PC hardware, or you can post it in anywhere you'd like. So you could, again, anybody that is just joining in, you can feel free to join the free Discord. It's right down in the description box down below. You can feel free to send out any type of PC photos that you have of your PC. Need help with upgrading, you could feel free to also ask. Okay, so let me see. Just heard something on Discord here. And let me see. Okay. Oh. All right, let's get back to just chatting here. But yeah, it's really nice if I sent it on Discord DM, I believe. I'm chapter. Oh, okay. I gotcha. So we'll check out his build. Let me see. Check my DMs here. Bankruptcy. Let me type you in. Chapter. Okay. Think I found your channel. Okay, I see you now. Would you have a standard tower case be troubling for plugging the cables? Okay, so that's a great question to ask. Now, a lot of those cases, like when it comes to like a BTF board, you want to make sure it's compatible. Now, a lot of the new Corsair cases, they're more compatible with any type of BTF boards. They'll actually even tell you. Like even the Corsair 4000, like their standard case now can fit like the BTFs. I know the newer Lee cases, you can also do BTF type of builds. But that's what you want to look for the most. You want to really be cautious to see what type of cases do allow you to be able to build a BTF board. Now, I'm really curious to see how like the triple chambered cooling case, like from Corsair, that's going to be coming out soon. That would be great for something like a BTF build, because I know that's also compatible as well. So if anybody's thinking of like a BTF build or Stealth or Project Zero or whichever one you would like to call it, you can certainly check out the case to make sure it is compatible in the first place. So, okay, so we have chapter bankruptcies case. Yes. Yeah, because unfortunately obviously the older style cases, they're going to be kind of a pain because you can imagine it's not going to have a cutout for it. Because the newer style cases, they'll have a cutout for, say, the header, for the ATX headers and everything, so that way you can be able to plug it in. Otherwise, you would have to kind of like retrofit it. Then you would have to get into like really modding the case, if anything. Like if there's a particular case that you would really like, then you would have to make marks and kind of cut it out, like make your own cutouts for it, and just hope it doesn't interfere with your ground when it comes to your motherboard and everything too. Okay, so right now we're just getting on PC Parts Picker right now, and we're going to check out this build, and let's see what Cabrera has here. So this is his build so far. He has a 9800 X3D, excellent choice. A Kraken 360. Oh, so you want to go with the all white build? I like that. And ZXT Kraken 360, Gigabyte B850 or Stealth. That's sick. So you're going that direction. G-Skill Trident Z5 Royal 32 Gigabyte. And again, we were just talking about BTFs, and he's going with a stealth build. So that's going to be nice. And a stealth build is just like a BTF build. So it's going to actually fit very nicely for his PC. Seems expensive. Yeah, because you got to pay for... unfortunately, for his build, he's paying a bit more because of the white. Hopefully, you know what's crazy? They did have a white one on sale. But that was the RTX 5090, unfortunately. The RTX 5090 was on sale. But again, that's like crazy expensive. compared to like a 5070 Ti. 5070 Ti. Then now he has the MSI Gaming Trio OC RTX 5070 Ti. That is expensive. That is kind of expensive. Because honestly, you could get like, I would think, is there, are you not able to get like a 5080, like a white 5080 maybe? That's like a 5080 price almost. Dang, that is expensive. You're blocking the PSU with, oh, let's see, let me pull it up for you guys so you can see. Right here, there you go, guys. So he ended up getting the Lian Li Edge, good choice. Lian Li Land Cool 217. So when you look at a case like this, yeah, you know what's the 5090? They had a white one on sale on Amazon Prime Day. I brought that up actually, what was it, last week? I think it was last week. And they actually had it for under 3,000. It was like $29.50, but still expensive, right? Still expensive. So let's take a look here, and we want to double check this. Oh, man. If Wasabi was here, he would definitely have something to say about the case. And see, usually when it's something like this, you want to make sure that it does have compatibility with like BTF, and they will tell you that. And let's just double check it just to make sure. So before you go with this case, let's see. We want to make sure that it is compatible. Okay, so it does have like a hole opening here. So it looks like this, guys. Right there. So you see how it has that big cutout? So more than likely it has that compatibility for the whole BTF. So you got this access, you have access here on the bottom and here. So more than likely you're pretty good behind motherboard tray. So that's good. So you just have to remove that tray really. So this is a really good choice to go for that. ASUS, so yeah, I like it. It's crazy though, and that the PSU was on sale at Micro Center, really. So Micro Center would be a good look. Are you close to a Micro Center, Cabrera X Games? So let's try looking up a white 5070 Ti. I'm just curious. See if we can find a different one. No, you know what? Why don't you get this one instead? It's way cheaper. You could get the RTX 5070 Ti Arrow if you want to match your board. Now they do have a deal on a 5070. I can send you the link here. Just get this one instead. And this will go nice. It doesn't have RGBs or anything on it. Oh, this one does. This specific ones. Does the Arrow have the thermal goop? Yes. But their newer generation, to be fair, their more up-to-date products do not have it. They have less thermal gel usage in it. So I can send this over to you. I'll share the link. I'll send it over to you just in case. You'll save much more money because it is a bit high for a GPU. That's it. I just sent it to you on Discord. You could go for that. And I'll send you the ASUS Tough one too. Eagle's okay, but it's better to go Arrow. Now, if they had the Aorus one, that's even better. But let's see. They got the Aorus, but it's black. Yeah, I would say go this one. Since I'm working again, I'm going to be buying a new CPU. Not sure which one to get. And the GPU 9060 XT. And I don't know which one to buy first. Since if I buy the 9060, I'll be using it with the Ryzen 5. Oh, okay. Since you're using it with the Ryzen 5500s, 9060 XT would do. You think, okay, awesome. Yeah, there you go. I'm glad we were able to help you. Definitely saved yourself $400 there. Oh, I apologize, guys. It looks like I lost signal on the camera, but that's not a problem. Let me just plug in my USB. I forgot to hook up the power supply to the camera. But the good thing is you'll still hear audio for now until I get this plugged in real quick. But let me see. Let me see, guys. There you go. Now I'm back. Just gotta give it a second real quick. Just gotta give it a second to charge, but yeah. It's yeah, again, $600 cheaper. Definitely 600. So you could definitely do like you could do a very decent build that way. I want to upgrade my CPU as well with it, but I can only buy one at a time for now. I get it. And you're still going to use the same AM4 board AC? All right. Hopefully the color grade goes in. There you go. Beautiful. Okay, now it should be good. Now we're back and up and running. Apologize for that camera cut off momentarily. But yeah, speaking of which, now you could get like to reward yourself, you could get $600 worth of games. So I'm sticking with AM4, yeah. So you're probably gonna go with you're probably gonna get like the I guess like a 5800 X3D or something. That would be nice to go with. Or the 5600 X3D would even be nice if you have the bigger budget. I would imagine you probably don't have to really spend a lot on it. Hopefully not. You could always buy it used as well, but you could, and I bet the used market, more than likely it's going to be used anyway. Like if you look for any of the 5000 series, they probably still have some new ones. Out of curiosity, I'm curious how much it currently is going up on eBay for. Let's see, 5600 X3D. Let's take a look here. Let's see what they're currently selling at. We're going to go and we'll go for sold items to get a good indication of what it looks like when it comes to see how it's selling. Let's see. Completed sales. Oh, not typing there. Completed. There we go. Perfect. Now we'll search it. I'll probably skip on the X3D CPU since I don't have the money to gamble with. Oh, okay. I gotcha. It seems like there's some decent ones. Like they're selling for good prices. On the used market anyway. But I do get it. Hopefully you'll be able to upgrade to one of these boards one of these days. It would be always nice, right? It would always be certainly nice to be able to upgrade to an AM5 board. I always like the 5600X non-X3D. Hardly used any power. Surprisingly good gaming performance on a RTX 4080. Absolutely, it still would perform great numbers. Now I gotta say, like the last great series when it comes to like the whole 50 series, not 50 series, when it comes to the whole 5000 series, when it comes to AMD's Ryzen, is that particular model. And let me see. Let me show you guys what we got this guy up to. He's sitting here in the back. For some reason, he likes to show you what this. It might be hard to see. I gotta get a longer USB for him, for our mascot Jonah over here. But he's sitting over here in the back, just chilling. He's sitting by one of the computer chairs. But yeah, the 5000. What's up, Kalis? So yeah, speaking of the 5000 series, the last real best series when it comes to the GPU side, and I'm glad you brought up the 4000 series, is the RTX 4000 series GPUs. Reason being is because they were still PCI Express 4, so you could go as high as a RTX 4090 and it would perform very well with it. And it would still, because again, most of the bottleneck doesn't come from the CPU side, it still comes from the GPU. So you can still really push decent graphics even on a AM4 board. So they still have quite a long, the longevity is still there. So for anybody that is still on AM4, I'm sure that you can vouch for it. But yeah, on the 5800 X3D, it's crazy. I wish I was there, like at the Walmart where they had this like X3D on sale, the 5800, and it was only like $100. Can you imagine? They were trying to get rid of it on clearance. And let me see if there is still a picture floating around for it. But that would have been a great buy. Let me see. It might have been a 5800 X3D or a 56. And they had it for a really good deal. Let's see. I wish I would have saved that picture too. It's going to be hard to find probably. It's funny. Walmart sale. 206. That's where it's 7800 X3D. That's not bad. So I guess somebody was lucky enough to get an X3D for, oh wow, look at this one. This is pretty funny. So this is it. So can you imagine you go to your Walmart? Oh, I apologize for that. Yeah, it might be. There you go. So can you imagine picking this up? Can you imagine picking this up, bro? For at Walmart, and this is pretty insane. This is a really good deal. So you can pick this up for a awesome deal for $99.75. Right? And you know what that is? That's not even a 5000 series. That's a 7800 X3D. Also, I might buy Battlefield 6, but I feel like I should wait since my 6600 XT high load areas would drop to 40 FPS sometimes from the beta not release. I see. Well, it's still kind of, I know, isn't that insane? Like, can you imagine running into that? Like, there was two left at this store for $99.75. That's like a steal. And yeah, speaking of which, if to let you know if anyone's interested in Battlefield 6, it still kind of does the same thing. It still kind of feels like it still has that frame drop similar to like the beta mode, to be honest. So just to let you guys know that it performs great. It's still a great performing game, but the thing is, it still does has its frame drops. It's from time to time. So yeah, I bought both. Yeah, that smart move. That would be the smart thing to do. If I was there, I'd definitely do it. How can you not buy it? It makes me want to check my Walmart more often because it makes you curious to see if they really have deals like this pretty often. But the luck, I mean, how can they sell it so cheap? And you can even see that they originally were selling it for $3.99. How much of that's like a 70% reduction practically. That's insane. But that you could do really two wonderful builds of that. Can you imagine? Or you could even just easily you could really have two wonderful systems for a great deal. I just built a new PC for my dad and then considered just giving one away for such a cheap price. Absolutely. Yeah, you don't want to be like the this scalper scum that we all don't like selling, having hordes of 78. I'm sure you've seen plenty of those posts where you see people have hordes of say 5090s and they're all stacked up to the ceiling, all stacked up of 5090s, and then they tried to sell it for like $10,000 each. And you know what's funny? A lot of those guys that ended up trying to do that end up just kicking rocks because it just just really bad karma on their side for it. And it's funny because I remember just for fun, I just contacted this like somebody on I think it was like OfferUp. I was on OfferUp, and the guy he had multiple, what was it, RTX 5080s, and it was, at the time, it's hard to get. And this is back like in February, like early February, but it seemed like the supply was slowly coming back for the 5080s anyway, and he was selling it for like $1,300. And so I was not 13, it was like $1,900. And so I just said, I just replied to him, how long did you have it? And he said, oh, I had it since launch. I'm like, okay, well, are you willing to sell it for this lower price now? Like, are you willing to sell at the regular price? Of course, he's not going to go for it. So he said, no, I'm not. So I said, okay, fine. I'll just, I kind of figured that, thanks. And then he just put a question mark, like, oh, what's wrong? You don't want to buy it now? So I know he ended up like holding a bunch of 5080s for no reason now. So I might have upgrade to a 32 gigabytes of RAM. Escaping from Tarkov pretty much was all using all my, I get 16 gigabytes. 16 gigabytes is probably now it's not going to be like the minimum specification. Now the minimum specification on any type of gaming build, just say, is going to be 32 gigabytes. That's like the norm now. So to have a comfortable gaming system, you have to have at least 32 gigabytes at the minimum. So that's another thing that surprises me too, spec-wise. I hope it is, but I double check it. I don't think it is. Is that even the ASUS ROG Ally Xbox Edition? I think that's 24 gigabytes if I'm not mistaken. But I had to double check the specifications to make sure. I was hoping that they pushed it up to 32. Because even Lenovo Go Legion 2 is up to 32 gigabytes. Especially for a lot of those demanding titles. So I always wish they made 12 gigabyte modules for value builds. It's funny. The thing is, they're not going to be, developers aren't worried about value builders. They're worried about if you can game on a 5090, just like when we were talking about Borderlands 4. So speaking of escape from Tarkov, the recommended specifications on Steam for the upcoming 1.0 release is going to, oh yeah, let's look it up just out of curiosity. Let's see what the recommended specifications are for escape of Tarkov. 1.0. All right, so let's take a look here. Huh? Oh, now it's not. Now my Google's acting up. Now it doesn't want to load up anything. Oh, okay, there we go. It's just that site. Okay, so let's go here to the news side. Okay, so we could see it. And let's see, let's pull it up. I'll show you what I'm looking at now. So right now we're in WCCF Tech. That's the first thing that came up. It says you would have to buy the game again to really enjoy it. That's crazy. No, this doesn't mention any of the specifications. If you can't find it, requires a 64-bit processor and operating system, Windows 11 processor. What? A 14700F? That's kind of demanding. 64 gigabytes? Or RTX 47? That really? It's that demand? I had no idea it was that crazy. Okay. That is insane. Oh, here you go. Yep. That is insane. There it is. There it is. Just like what you were saying. Right there, guys. Hopefully you guys see that. So for minimum, it recommends the 3600, 16 gigabytes. What a leap! What a leap! On a real note, on my builds, I get like 70 FPS. They are insane for those. Yeah, that's insane. Like even a lot of like modern day titles, they're not really demanding as much for recommended specs such as this. 4070, talk about being half-assed. That is, with the latest offender being Borderlands 4, which according to reports runs suboptimal even in high-end games. There you go. Why do you think Borderlands did so terrible? Oh man, these developers, they really can get away with anything right now. It can run. It just shows you things can obviously run a lot better. What if they just don't rely on some of these engines? It's just insane. That's just really being lazy. Huh. Wow. That's just terrible. I heard, and another thing I've heard is Little Nightmares 3 wasn't as promising as we all hoped. Unfortunately, it wasn't like that long of gameplay. Even though it's like $40, it's still like a great deal to get the game. But again, the gameplay I heard is not long, and it's not as interesting as the prior version, which was Nightmares 2. So I haven't got to play it. I am looking forward, and hopefully there's a lot of fans out there. I'm looking forward to Ninja Gaiden 4 for sure. I am looking forward to that because it's been forever since we had a Ninja Gaiden game. So it's nice to see that come back to life. So the only thing I can compliment, it's very consistent with its frame rates. From that, a lot of people in the game communities have been a lot of negative words for the main dev. I agree. The devs, I don't know what they've been doing, and honestly, I just feel like they deal like with companies such as NVIDIA, specifically, because just really think about it. Because like if you think about like a lot of the titles you enjoy, speaking of like older titles, just like as we mentioned, such as like Escape from Tarkov or any other titles as even before then, like say it's like for example Fallout 3, for example. And you know that there's rumors of them going to remake Fallout 3. So when they remake Fallout 3, they're going to expect you to get the new version of Fallout 3, and then it's going to require a lot. But again, there was a lot of disappointments from when Oblivion came out because, yeah, the graphics were a lot better, but it still didn't feel right. It just felt like they slapped practically a model in there to make it look better, and that was it. It was just like not really any type of real improvements, and that's something that that a lot of gamers are not wanting. You're gonna have to pay full price on a product that you've played in prior generations. Now that you're going to have problems to play these games, just like originally with the RTX 50 series, that you weren't able to use like PhysX games, so it wouldn't allow you to play games such as like Fallout New Vegas because that requires PhysX. And then later they said, you know what, we'll throw advanced PhysX on there, and then it'll be fine. But originally they didn't want to throw it in there. So what does that tell you? They want you to buy a new version of a new game, almost like some sort of underground deal that they had. So it's happened. So is anybody else's YouTube glitching out? It's not your stream, by the way. Oh really? Oh man. Don't wonder why. Oh, that sucks. I had to reload the stream like 10 times for it to properly render. Oh, really? Oh, wow. Yeah, yeah. No wonder why. It seems a little bit. I kind of it figures the time that I stream, such as today, it doesn't run nearly as well and as smooth. So hopefully YouTube can get it together. That's really sucks. It happens like during this streaming time. But again, like if anybody wants to join the Discord, feel free. Show your PC parts. Would love to hear from you guys. We took a look at a few, some really nice builds. Tell me what you guys think of this. I can't get it off of my mind here. I mean, I really can't. This is really nice. This motherboard is just nice. And I'm waiting specifically. I can't watch. Oh, really? It's that bad. I had the same problem with my Tarkov stream. I checked it on my phone and YouTube just. Oh, really? No wonder why. I kind of figured it was like a bit slow. I apologize for everybody viewing it. My build was really nice originally before the game. Yeah, just to show you FVG's build here. Let me just go into the stream, into the Discord stream, and I'll show you. It's you guys might get a kick out of it, so just give it a moment, and I'll switch over to that side. So I'm gonna go over here and go over to the, where's it at? Before and after side. And just give it a moment. I'm just gonna switch over to Discord. Right there. So this is before. Right? This is MK, and this is MVG's videos here. This is the cable management. I'm sure some of you have some choice words to say. There was quite a few members of the fam that got quite a bit got a quite bit upset about it. And then now look, after the cable management, much better. Hopefully you got that fan wire completely out the way. I know that's something that you've been working on. But it's a lot better now as PC can finally breathe. He said the temperatures have been much more better, which is awesome. But yeah, that's quite the difference, right? It could really... So if anybody's curious that if cable management really matters, it does. And MVG can attest to it. He'll let you know that it certainly does matter, especially when it comes to cable management. My build was really nice originally, so I fixed the fan cable. Oh, awesome. I knew that you would. I knew, because it just makes it, you probably feel so much cleaner, right? After you've done all that cable management. And this is it. This is it right here. I want to share with you guys. And this is the motherboard. But unfortunately, they only have the Ice Edition. It's really nice. It's funny, they showed a black version of this board, but has yet been released. And I gotta show you, this is like their brand new BIOS and everything that's built in. Some of you with Gigabyte motherboards may have got to try out the new BIOS. Let me know how you're liking it. And it's practically toolless. The last thing I need to do is the case fans. It's so hard to move them. Yeah, the case fans aren't as easy because you got to kind of loosen up the screw a lot of the times in order to manage them. But at least I hope you have the magnetic case fans. So that way you only have to mess with just like a couple, just like one wire really, compared to messing with all three. Because I know how much of a pain that really can be. I like the back connector motherboards. Me too. I do like them. It's funny. So it's really debating between this or the BTF boards. It sounds like more people are liking the back motherboard connections. So it's a mix between something like this or just getting a BTF board. Nah, daisy chain. Oh man. Okay. Yeah, so hopefully you're able to access it, because that's the only thing. You got to unscrew it a bit and then be able to actually take it apart and then kind of maneuver it. You don't have to unscrew it all the way to where you pull out the fan, but enough to where you can manage the cable at least. I know it's tough because you got the motherboard there and now you have to kind of like snake it through, but hopefully you can get it right. Do it the next time you're doing a dusting. That's one of the most underrated things to do, by the way, is dusting out your PC. I know everybody's guilty of it. It's very easy to kind of sit idle and just let the PC collect dust. But certainly make sure everyone out there does dust out their PCs. It could certainly help temperatures too, because you'd be surprised how much dust can collect inside of a PC, especially when you do have your companions with you, your pets, and they can collect quite a bit of hair. Yeah, yeah, you should. Definitely should. Yeah, you could even go through, you could share it even through Discord here. I've never cleaned my PC. That's funny. I'm telling you, there's a lot of people that is guilty of it. A lot of people are guilty of it, not cleaning their PCs. And you would be surprised how much better your temperatures can really get. That's the spirit. So, this is a nice board and everything. A lot of these boards are practically toolless now. You don't really need any screwdrivers. You can just use... Never had an issue, so I never do it. I get it. It's a lot better than what it was before. Especially because technically you don't have to like take out the whole PC to do it. Because now you have filters on the PC case. You can just pull off the filter, clean the filter, and put it back on, and you don't really have any issues. Compared to before where there wasn't really any filters as much on PC cases. And then you were forced to kind of unplug your PC and then clean it out that way. But because thanks to the filters now, you could easily just pop them off. They're magnetic, pull them off, just one quick swipe and that's it. And you're pretty much good to go. And but I do get it. I know some people may not really experience issues, but I'm telling you, it does make quite the difference. You might be even surprised on how much it can really build up on it. But yeah, going to the motherboard side, let's take a look at their stealth ones. In fact, speaking of their Gigabytes stealth here. Yeah, my filters must be amazing because not even a decade. You need to see the YouTube. Oh, really? It's that bad? Oh, man. No wonder why I like the... All right, let me go ahead. Let me take a look. I'm going to go try to check check a video out right now. Let's see. Let's do a streamception here, as so to say. And seems to be loading. Yeah, that's crazy. I'm trying to load up my own stream here. It's not even working. That is insane. But you guys can see me, right? All right, let me try going on another one. Let me just go on someone else's. I'm seeing it. I'm just going to click on any video here. DJ Osmo. Oh, wow. Talk about timing. This sucks. There you go. This one loaded somewhat. The ad it loaded up, but let's see. Oh, wow. Something went wrong. Really? Wonderful. I post what error I got. I'm getting that. I'm getting it too. I'm getting this for you guys. If you're curious if I'm getting the same issue whatsoever, let me focus the camera on here real quick. Right there. But I'm getting that same exact issue. And you probably got that screenshot too. And that sucks. If anyone's having issues on... let me type this. Anyone's having issues on YouTube, join Twitch or X. Hopefully you guys can see it. Yeah, that's crazy. An error has occurred. Okay. Yeah, feel free to join Twitch. Because, yeah, that really sucks. That way, you know, yeah, so hopefully everyone sees that's coming in. And then it'll be less problematic. Okay. So, we wanted to take a look at stealth builds, right? So some of the stealth builds we wanted to take a look at, we want to go Oris, right? I know, it's insane. They're effing me right now. I'm telling you, it happens to me every time. Like, right when I do something, that they like to do this. But for this, I'll definitely have to make it up. Definitely gonna have to make this up. Hard to... Now it's hard to be an exclusive member of a fan band now, to be like this. Let's see, form factor. It would be under graphic interference, M.2, graphics, networking, USB, product features. Okay, so product features. Let me see. Or platform. Well, we want AMD. I guess they don't have a real name. I'm surprised it's not a filter on here. You would think they would have a filter for it. Let's try typing in stealth. Let's put in stealth. And see what comes up here. Stealth Gigabyte. There we go. So we're going in. And let's see what we got here. Isn't it like BTF? Yes. Yeah, I know. It's weird, right? The filter doesn't... so the whole article comes up. Because BTF is strictly ASUS's. So if anyone wants an ASUS board, Gigabyte calls it Stealth. So it doesn't look like they have the same as ASUS's brand. And then MSI calls it Project Zero, if anybody wants to know. So that's all their names for it. Here we go. The Aorus Stealth Ice. So they're really obsessed with ice currently. So it seems like if there is a stealth build, it would have to be all white from Gigabyte. See, I would love to do a white build, right? But the only issue is I'm very particular about white builds. And the thing is, like when it comes to Gigabytes, I would want them to at least have a black one too. And the reason being why I would want one is because the thing is, first off, you need to have like all white everything, I feel. Like I feel it feels off if you have like a white black table and then everything's like black. Your keyboard, your mouse, your monitors, and then that's gonna throw everything off. Like when it comes to like a white build. Twitch says I don't have really what? Okay. Everybody join X. Join X or Twitter. Oh, there you go. Welcome, Dr. Mello. Thank you. Thank you for following on Twitch. Theatrical question. Theoretical question. Should I upgrade Wi-Fi routers? I have Wi-Fi 5. I mean, yeah, you certainly can. What devices are you using that you feel that requires Wi-Fi? Excuse me real quick. Let me get this camera focused. What devices do you have that requires, say, Wi-Fi like 6 or Wi-Fi 7? If you have, like, say, maybe you have, if you have consoles, yes, you can switch to Wi-Fi 6 and make a difference. But if you connect, like, wired everything, then I wouldn't really worry about it as much. Even on the phone, not really. It's only worth it, Wi-Fi 7 or Wi-Fi 6 if you have other devices that you need to connect that are detrimental for Wi-Fi. Like if you have a laptop or something that you really need to connect for high bandwidth. So, what's up, Catty Wampus? Hi, Chris. Weird question for you. I have a 9800 X3D CPU and I want to have the best 0.1% lows in games. What Windows power plan would you recommend? Not really a weird question, Catty Wampus. Just by the way, if anyone's having an issue, please, everyone, let everybody that's coming in know to just join Twitch if there's still buffering issues on YouTube, or join on Twitter or X. Also, to answer your question, you still can get those low FPS. You won't really have an issue. If you're trying to go with a decent power plan, I would recommend just going for the most high energy plan. I know it sounds like something that is not so energy efficient, so to say, but that's the best recommended setting I can say. You want to use up like the most performance. Look up a full performance plan, and I actually even have a video based on it. I could actually join it. And thank you MVG for letting him know. I will, if you join Discord, I can send you the link to that video. I'm not sure if YouTube will let me link my YouTube video to it. If it does, but more than likely it's going to be problematic, and I do have a guide on getting the most FPS you can. And let me see if I can find it real quick so I can share it with you. And this can honestly get you the best optimizations, especially if you're gaming on PC here. So I will copy it over to you, and I actually share the power plan here. So let me see. Let me know if it goes through or not. If it doesn't, then it's probably not going to work since YouTube is down. And let me highlight my buddy here, MVG, because he just make sure to join Twitch if anyone is having issues. Let's see. Oh, why did that get so small? let me fix that, guys, real quick. B-chat. Right here, let me go here. Where's it at? Featured. Let me get this bigger. Man, how'd that get so small? There you go. I'll leave that pinned. Thanks to the MVG. What's up, Felipe MD? Link came through. Awesome. Glad it did. Thank you. I used the ultimate performance power plan, but I saw that it recommended power. No. Listen, you got to smack Windows for that. Windows is trying to be more green energy. Thank you for following, Felipe. Sure thing, Tony. I can definitely help you through Discord. Don't listen to Windows. It can really be an ass at times. Thank you, Hostile Gamer, for joining. Would you rather have a 5070 Ti with 9800X3D or a 5080 with a 9600X? If I had to choose between them, between a 5070 Ti or a 5080 with a 9060, I would certainly go 5080 with a 9600X. You can always upgrade the processor later, and it's not that big of a deal to swap it. Having the better GPU is certainly much better to go. Now, it's still a very good combination. That RTX 5070 Ti and 9800 XGD combo is really nice, but you will really benefit a bit more when it comes to the 5080. So you have Twitch to verified only, by the way. Oh, really? Okay, I got you. You know what? Yeah, no problem. I'll fix that. Thank you for letting me know, MVG. That's because there's a lot of bots on Twitch, as we all know. It can be really a pain. So I'll go ahead and fix that for you guys. If anyone's having trouble, follow me on Twitch. But thank you for letting me know that. Let me see. I will fix that immediately. Follower verification. And let's see. I'll turn off. What's giving you the issue? The phone verification? I'll turn that off, and email verification is off. And hopefully that... Okay, let me know if that works. I just turned it off. You can always set to some people as mods for the bots anyway. Oh, awesome. Okay, yeah, for sure. That's something I have to adjust here. I know it's not the... Okay, I gotcha. I'll definitely fix that up later too, for sure. What's up, Normac 258? I probably do the 9800 X3D and the 5070 Ti. Coming from experience with the 4080. Yeah, well, the thing is, he can always upgrade if there's the 10,000 series. I could see why you're saying that.
But again, most of the bottleneck is going to end up from the GPU either way. 9800 X3D is certainly better for the gaming aspect, but the GPU is so much better to have. But yeah, honestly, I do agree. Either one's not okay. See ya, Hostile Gaming. Hopefully, you guys are able to talk perfectly fine. Yeah, I do apologize for that. For anyone that had issues with Twitch earlier, thanks to MVG over there, he definitely certainly helped out on that side. And maybe tomorrow too, we'll probably end up Nicholas Nor. Okay, gotcha. Man, you see what YouTube's doing? It's pushing everybody over. It's kind of funny because it's like YouTube's causing everyone to go over to the Twitch side, which is kind of funny. So if anybody is unfamiliar with who I am, I'm Chris Mizo. I talk about PC and tech. Feel free to join Discord, and you can feel free to ask any of the questions you would like about PC hardware, PC builds. We kind of discussed overall different types of topics from GPUs, motherboards. We talked about the new Xbox ROG Ally X. Maybe a lot of you guys are excited. Another thing I may add, usually YouTube works. And you know what's funny? Twitch is the one that ends up usually giving me the problems more than YouTube does. But yeah, YouTube is totally tripping out today. And it makes sense because I was wondering like where the heck everybody was. Like usually in my streams, it seemed kind of quiet, more than usual. But I'm glad you guys made it through. I do appreciate you guys joining in as always. Also, I do have a new feature for everybody out there who wants to join the membership side, but obviously YouTube's not the good place to be currently. And big shout out to our first subscriber, Xenomorphing, as his question for this week for the stream is going to be, when was the first time everybody got their GPU? We would love to know, because everybody has their experience when they first got a GPU who really got into PC gaming. And out of curiosity, what was GPU did you end up getting for your first build, or the first thing you upgraded for your PC, regardless if it's pre-built or if it's a custom-built PC? 1 year ago, pre-built. Awesome. So how's it feel? Like, how's it feel to go over to the dark side? Welcome to the whole PC gaming, by the way. How's it? Feels completely different, right? Like, you don't have to worry about paying for Xbox Game Pass anymore, or you don't have to worry about paying for any type of PlayStation Network Plus or anything like that. Especially, that if Xbox is raising their prices, for sure that Sony's going to end up raising the prices very soon. They just always follow suit when it comes to Microsoft as well. 5070, I returned it because the Cyber Power PC CPU fan cooler broke. Oh, that's just terrible. And that's the thing. When you buy like a pre-built PC, even though it's a decent brand, right? It's Cyber Power PC, supposed to be like a decent brand for a pre-built PC. It's not. It's a good gaming PC. That's all I can say. It's good, but definitely not the best. And then once you go build your own PC, you just realize like how much of a bottleneck a pre-built PC can really give you, especially at the motherboard side, because a lot of them are their own manufacturers, like a custom-made cheap motherboard. But everything, all the components can be pretty decent. It's just the motherboard's always the cheapest aspect, or it's custom for their specific case, to where you're forced to just only upgrade components and that's it. And even if you choose to upgrade a motherboard, a lot of their cases, you won't be able to swap it out because it's not technically ATX. And 70 gigahertz Radeon. Awesome. That's an awesome one. Played GTA 4 on that. That is, yeah, that, what's funny? It's like, I remember like, even when I got back into PC gaming too, the biggest sin I committed was that, I built a PC at first I didn't build a PC. I pre-built, upgraded to GPU, and then I said, you know what, I'm gonna save up, build my own PC. I did that. Ended up getting outdated. It got up to like, I got rid of it after like 6 years. It lasted me 6 years, and then I just ended up parting it out. And then I wanted to get back into PC gaming again, and into like having a PC once again. And then I ended up buying a pre-built PC. It only lasted like maybe 6 months. I was like, I can't do this. And then I ended up building PCs from there on out. And that was like a Radeon, what was it? Like it was like a Radeon, it was like a similar model to what you had to, like a 7800, not the XT version, of course. I missed my 14900K. I'm happy with the 7800 X3 though. Oh yeah, I love that my 7800 X3D SIP power. See, the good thing about the 3D chips for everyone that is tuning in, just to let you know, the good thing about them is that they're not as power hungry. Now the standard X models, they're a bit more power hungry compared to the 3D models. So if you look at something like a say a 7600X 3D, it's only 105 watts. Like it ends up really taking up. Compared to something that is just the X variant where it can take up to like 160 watts. So it's a big difference in wattage when it comes to like the standard to the X3D. And plus you get more, you get the extra CCD, so you get the more cache, especially for gaming, which is more required. The other processors are better when it comes to like encoding and things like that, more than for actual gaming. Even though you can game on it, it's just better to have the X3D for that extra CCD. So yeah, that's weird. Mine says it pulls less. Yeah, that 105 is like the max. You know what I mean? The 105 is like the max wattage. So so my 6800 X3D maxed out at 66 watts. It's, again, like, it's very minimal. It's not going to take a lot of power out those chips. And most people are going to go all the way to 105. That's like 100% usage. My 9800 X3D is about 100 watts. Yeah, because the 9800 X3D is a bit more power hungry, just a little bit, not by much, by like 15 watts more, and it's like 120 watts. But again, it's never going to go all the way up when it comes to usage. So I'm saving for a MSI Ace motherboard. Awesome. Yeah, it's worth it. If you go MSI Ace, you will certainly enjoy it. The one thing I haven't liked about my PC is the 9070 XT. Oh, really? So what's the issues that you're running with your 9070 XT? Is it not performing to it's not performing to the expectations that you have? It's pretty crazy because I know the 9070 XT that we did, the Sapphire Nitro Plus, it performed really well. I definitely recommend that card, but I'm curious what the issues you have are. So having issues with AMD or just the Gigabyte model, I feel like it has to be the Gigabyte model. If I were to guess, it's got to be Gigabyte. It's funny because the Sapphire one performed phenomenal, and I'm sure you guys have seen it. We've streamed with it even a few times, but recently I actually had to give that PC to a friend where he obviously didn't have TPM 2.0. His PC was completely out of date anyway, and so he had to he had to end up practically throwing that PC out because it was like only on a Ryzen 2700, I think. It was like an old PC, but now you can happily play Battlefield 6. So I sent a picture in chat. I'm getting barely 200 FPS in a 1080p Battlefield, and it's overheat and it's loud. Really? Damn, that's... So I don't like the NVIDIA crap. I like raw FPS with AMD graphics or hotspot issues. The bad temps are in the memory. So maybe there's some optimizations that we can do. The optimizations wise, I would say try lowering the graphics. Okay, so I'm going to open up Discord here real quick. And it's this right here. So let's go full screen. Oh, it's not displaying the video full screen. Okay, so after dealing with this over an hour, it goes into safe mode. Oh wait, this is a different issue, right? This is Tony's issue. what's it say? So you're having updates, and so the updates have been constantly rebooting like this. You're having these type of issues, Tony. I'll certainly help you out. I bet you're going to have to do like a system, practically like a system restore. You're going to have to enter systems recovery mode, like the Windows recovery mode. Once you enter that, then you're going to go and uninstall like the update practically. That, or you're going to go to system restore and go to the day where you didn't do the update, and that should fix your issue. And just to make sure you're on Windows 11, I'm assuming, let me see. Looks like Windows 11. Funny clips. Will the Assassin X120R digital ARGB black will hold my... yeah. It shouldn't have any issue. Not with the 7600X. Alright, guys. If anything, I will end up... I do apologize for anyone on the stream. I feel like I heard a YouTuber having issues with the 9070 XT Gigabyte cooler as well. It's possible. I haven't tried the Gigabyte cooler. But... Unfortunately, guys, I have to go. My wife's pretty hungry, so we gotta go eat right now. And I do apologize. I will definitely help you guys soon. I do appreciate everyone for joining in onto the Twitch side with the current YouTube issues going on. Also, feel free to follow on Twitch. Subscribe to YouTube, and feel free to like the video if you're on YouTube. I apologize. I feel really bad for you guys on YouTube. I do. Also, feel free to join the free Discord, and also check out the memberships. Please join in. It'd be great. Don't leave Xenomorphing all by himself. And I will definitely be streaming sometime soon again. Yeah, everybody have a great night. We'll figure out these issues. Hopefully you heard me, Tony. Just give that a shot. And I'll reach out to you afterwards too. But thanks again, everybody, for coming in, and hopefully YouTube gets better. Have a great night, everyone.